A very warm welcome to the webinar on FinOps in the age of AI for managing the cloud cost in an unpredictable world. The meaning of unpredictable comes here is from the use of AI and how the cloud, the cost usage is becomes an unpredictable due to the usage of the AI. So this presentation webinar is along with the demonstration of the tool is in collaboration with Aerowire and also our preferred OEM partner for cloud optimization known as Histax, which is one of the organization that provides open source tools and also the support for cloud optimization and MLOps platforms. Just let me stop. Yeah, this is just very quick introduction about Aerowire. Aerowire is started in 2014. We are a system integrator located in India, spread across Europe and Ireland and US and Singapore. We are basically SI in three segments: network, security, and cloud operations. So our most likely interest today is on the cloud. So we do the cloud optimization for many of the customers sitting on four different hyperscalers, that is Azure, AWS, Google, and Oracle. And our mission is that we want to reduce the cloud usage, the cloud cost optimization, and then improve the improve the performance by putting that budget into different aspects. Yeah, so we provide, these are our unique solutions on the cloud solution architecture, and we work on three principles. First, we do assessment and then understand the gaps, enable them, and then take complete managed services. So our partner, Histax, is founded in 2016, who has been developing many of the open source platforms on FinOps and MLOps and on the cloud migration, backup, and disaster recovery software. And these are successful open source projects with 2,000 plus GitHub ratings, and also run with an organization for FinOpsPractice.org, which has already been 9,000 members in the open source community. And some of the prevalent customers with the Histax for cloud cost optimization and also the backup or like Airbus, Nutanix, and Orange. This proves that the tools are already matured enough to have the cloud cost optimization. So considering the agenda of the talk, why we are here, because we have a common interest on the optimizing the cloud cost on different aspects. The current age is run with an AI. The AI, either we consume it or we are giving a services over AI to our customers. So either the way, these are the 4+ top insights gained from 6th annual State of FinOps survey, which is being conducted by FinOps.org worldwide, and around 1,100 plus participants, which are at the CXO level and at the participated in this and DGM level participated in this, and the participants, the overall average cloud spend is on 83 billion plus in the annual cloud spend. So it means that whatever they say, it matters a lot, right? So FinOps survey says that the AI will dominating the current agenda of the state of FinOps, both for managing it and using it. So it's on the both the sides, on the producing side and on the consuming side. And considering from the last 5th FinOps survey, this has taken a significant rise in the cloud cost optimization. And many of the answers to the questions on the AI have been predominantly at the highest stake. So FinOps has definitely expanded across the technology, not only on the multiple disciplines, but on the various disciplines. on managing the application side, which has grown up 25% from last year. And somebody wants to license and optimize the licensing part and the on terms of the cloud optimization, and then managing the private cloud. So this what these results indicate. It indicates that in the current stage, that everybody needs the FinOps management, or needs a FinOps center of excellence, or needs a FinOps practices in their organization, so that the cost can be reduced and the healthy the KPIs can be built and achieved. So the optimization is in the table stack, the value is the goal. So here not only the cloud optimization is a single goal, but the goal is how do we raise the value of an organization, how do we bring a value to the organization, and that scope expands in the different segments, the mainly the governing, the visibility, the organization alignment, what the CFOs are doing, like what the product managers. Again, there is many multiple segments over it, like who are responsible for the visibility of this cost management, and then forecasting overway. So because when I say it is a FinOps, it is a multifaceted environment, not only developers but also on the management level, and unit economics plays a very important role here. So how much spend we are doing for the each click on the website, right? So such kind of cost alignments, how much cloud cost that we are spending for that. So it has a multi facet alignment for this. And if you see the FinOps team in an organization now shifted to report to directly to the CTO or CIOs at that level. So it means that the everybody, the CXOs are concerned on the arbitration of the cloud prices, or the expulsion of the cloud prices, or unpredictable cloud expenses. So what is FinOps basically? So this is more interesting for us. The FinOps is a practice. FinOps is not a technology or a framework. It's a kind of a framework. Okay, FinOps is a framework. It's an operational framework that is built based on the cultural practices, where we want to maximize the business value of an organization or the technology that we want to cater, and we want to make it in a timely fashion with the complete visibility. And meanwhile, for us is the financial accountability. So how much spend we are doing in terms of the cloud cost for each team in our organization. And that happens, the visibility that happens by collaborating with the engineering team, the finance team, and the business makers or business decision makers, right? So together they build the cost KPIs for the cloud. For example, let's say that how much we are putting the cost barrier for especially for the development, for the testing, for the production rollout. And then if we have a new requirements that is coming in for the product, then how much cap we are keeping for that in terms of the cloud that we want to invest, and what is the unit economics that we are spending on. So these are some of the core capabilities. And how do we orchestrate all of this? There is a need of an framework, or the framework or the tool that can bring together all together. So in general, if you take any of the FinOps practices, these are the four key principles that we need to focus. The one is the visibility. Why visibility is important for us? If you take any organization now in the current state, they are in a multi-cloud environment, multi-cloud environment. So either probably they are using third-party data centers or the hyperscalers. So their workloads are spread out across the multiple environment, and there is a multiple subscriptions that the organization may have. There are different teams that they are having, a different orgs that they are handling, and the workloads at the each department level are spread across heterogeneous on the cloud environment, right? So it is a huge complex thing to get all together at one place. Getting the visibility on the cost side, it is a complex environment. So the visibility is the first part. Then the second part is the control. So how do we control the cost KPIs? How do we keep the barriers of our budgeting? how much we allocate the budgets for the each department, how do we monitor that one, how to cap that one, and how to control that one. So that is the first thing. And then the FinOps, the cost optimization, right? So nowadays, since there are multiple personas involved in the cloud usage, and it becomes very challenging to monitor each and every day, does any of the resources created on the cloud they are really using for, or they are not using? Is there any the unused buckets, unused IPs, unused resources that encompasses the cloud cost, right? So tracking everything in and out in the current in the multi-org environment is challenging. So the cost optimization plays a very important role. And then the collaboration. Collaboration is knowing, putting accountability on the finance side, on the engineering side, on the decision making side. So this plays collaboration plays a very important, and so these are the four key principles, and this cannot be achieved at one line. The cost optimization or the FinOps strategy cannot be achieved at all at one time in a very proficient manner. It has a different. There are three phase strategies that FinOps organization has put up, right? So first thing is the crawling. So just to get the current visibility, what is happening in your cloud cost, overall budgeting of the cloud cost, how your applications on different environments are using, understand that, get that visibility. So that is what we call it as a crawling. So understand, gaining visibility is the crawling. Then once we get the visibility, then try to optimize the spend by allocating accuracy, remove the unused resources that are coming in and which has not been used, and optimize in all the levels, so that brings some value. So that's where the walk comes in. And the run is building a FinOps center of excellence that builds starting from the development. That is a left shift approach, right? Before deploying, think twice that capability, that flavor of the resources needed to needed to deploy on that application or not, right? So building a complete center of excellence involving all the personas, starting from the CXOs, engineering teams, and the finance team, and giving complete visibility, and bring your unit economics in place. It means that, for example, like as I mentioned earlier, the level where you want to achieve the cost KPIs. For example, let's say that how much the spend I am doing for each order of an e-commerce site, right? How much the spend I am doing for each order in the e-commerce website. So that level of the unit economics. So that is a matured FinOps organization that comes under the run, right? So since we talked on the different core principles, but the play around is the AI, because the one or the other way we consume or we desperately provide service using the AI, right? So AI cost complexity requires a FinOps discipline, because we use multiple things in the AI architecture when we are a producer. So we need to think about the training multi-layered cost like tokens, GPUs, API, the building a SaaS application for that. So it becomes a complete difficult, challenging part. And then we need to bring the business value from the AI investment. We think big, but when it comes to the expenditure, it is a lot, right? So there are many other parameters that needs. It's always in two strategies here. One is the FinOps for AI or AI for FinOps, right? So our context today is that we need a FinOps for the AI, right? So, what are the cloud-based drivers typically when you see any of the organization? Many of 10 to 15% of the bill are due to the idle resources sitting on your cloud environment. So they are not at all being used, or they may be forgot to delete or eliminate and decommission those unused idle resources. And next is that we don't know, there is a fear of that, we keep at a larger size of the flavors when we commission the resources. That's over provisioning. So 12% accounts to that one. And the main the contributor also is here is the orphan storage. So keeping the massive data, especially for the machine learning or model data, which is already trained, but we still want to keep on our storage side, either on the cool, cold, or hot stage. So many of you may be experienced that kind of overkilling prices on the storage sides when you don't want to keep on the hot side, but by mistake you kept on the hot side, but you want to keep on the cool side, right? So that is very pain point here. And then 25% at the margin, which is the unused licenses that may sit on your environment. Either it could be a SaaS licenses, either it could be uh, any of the licenses that accounts to your application, right? So considering all these aspects, uh, we want to drive you through today an open source upskill environment, which is one of the FinOps tool that's segmented into two parts. The one is the FinOps, cloud cost optimization, FinOps and cloud cost optimization. FinOps is the cultural practice that how we bring, and along with that, we want to bring a value that is with the reduction in the cloud cost, right? And the second is in the agentic and in the AI environment. How do we monitor, visualize, bring the visibility in terms of the ML ops environment when we deploy on the cloud environment, right? So these are the two principles that we wanted. This is a general schema of the upscale. Upscale is completely open source, which is available on the GitHub, and uh, which can be deployed on the Kubernetes environment. This upscale can be provisioned. If you want to provision in your environment, definitely that is achievable, where we can help on this. Or if you want a SaaS solution, that is also available. So that's all up to you. So the upscales, when I take a tool as an upscale tool, so it has multiple data sources that is coming in. Either take all the hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, Google, Alibaba, and Kubernetes. Either it's on-prem Kubernetes or AKS or EKS. So that can be integrated on the upscale. And then these are the external services like Databricks, Snowflake. You want to have a uh, data ops monitoring, data engineering monitoring, especially with the Databricks, Snowflake, that is achievable. And then there is a S3. These are typically on the PaaS side: Amazon Redshift, Amazon Athena, Snowflake, Azure. So these are all can be integrated. So once we bring the data, this requires only the read-only access from your environment, which can able to capture all of the cost-related information into the upscale platform, and then that is integrated. So once we bring the data into the platform, then you can able to apply the FinOps philosophies, and then apply the cost and performance optimization. Tool will recommend you what are the unused or optimized, and do you need so tool will recommend you various configurations that you can opt for that. And then there is something called ML flow, ML profiling. These are related to the ML ops platform, where comes from the upscale. And you can see on the right side there is a recommendations. The recommendation, as I mentioned, that if you are over provision, then it will recommend to resize the VMs. Then you can see the unused instances. That is that the upscale will give you the recommendation. And if there is any reserved, you want to reserve instances which has been used from last 1 year, but you can take the 1 year commitment that can save you the prices, right? So those kind of suggestions or recommendations are enabled. And let us go to the tool directly, and I'll just showcase the capabilities of the tool. And you can start demoing the environment directly by hitting to the website, and you can register, log in, integrate, and you can start using it. So let me just show you the demo use case on that. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the Offscale is complete open source tool, which is available on the GitHub. When you GitHub high stacks Offscale, then you could able to see the complete overview of the tool, how to deploy the Kubernetes and everything. We help you to deploy on the Kubernetes. So secondly, there are two environments. If you go to the Histacks website, you can directly hit on the Offscale demo and try to integrate your cloud environment. Apart from that, as a Aerowire FinOps strategy that we also deployed in the Indian data center, this FinOps tool. And if anybody needs access to this environment, you want to integrate your cloud and see how much recommendation that it can provide, or you want to have a demo for 2 weeks of a demo that you need to have on to integrate your cloud and see. So that is available, and please feel free to ask us. Then we can give you the access and you can onboard. But since many of the organizations like fintech, NBFCs and all, they have a compliance and regularity issue adoption. So for them, it is easier to deploy and configure on their own environment or on their own cloud infrastructure environment. So coming to the tool, so if you see the stacks, this is the upscale platform. And as I mentioned earlier, so there are different options for the cloud cost optimization. The first thing is the recommendation. So whenever you onboard upscale to your environment, typically there is a guaranteed recommendation that at least 5 to 7% of your cloud workloads can be you can have the cloud cost, the optimized recommendation up to 7%, where you can reduce the. So since our landscape currently, the demo environment, which has a very not big landscape, so the recommendations are very small here. For example, there is a load balancer which is running like abundant. Nothing is attached to that load balancer, and where you can save the $17.79 on this saving, right? So there is a underutilized instances. So if there are such, then it will show you the, and there are some preemptible the spot instances that you, so absolute IPs, snapshots. So this will give you complete visibility, and it will recommend you to decommission such kind of resources. And you can segregate according to on various resources, either it could be Azure, AWS, or Databricks, right? So, and also apart from this, there is a learning guide side by side, which will tell you about the what the each option of the scale will help you to reduce the cost, right? So you can see the guide for the each of the operations that we do. And the secondly, this will give the resources endpoint. So whenever you integrate your read API to the upskill platform, for the cost, it will take some few hours. If the landscape is bigger, it needs more time. Then it will pull all of the data, cost data, into your into the upskill platform, and it will start giving visibility, right? So you can track this, which environment is utilizing more. You can segregate it daily, weekly, or monthly, and then you can categorize them into region wise, in terms of Kubernetes node wise, data source or data type, region, so whatever. So that is up to you, like how you want to play your dashboards and keep ready. And it will also gives us the more expenditure that is happening from which resources that is happening, right? So these are, then you will have a, you want to, dedicated resource pools, and you want to monitor about the dedicated resource pools. For example, let's say that I have added a AWS resource pool here, and which shows me that the forecasted is $150, and then the expenses for this month is $110, right? So then you want to see each and every points there constraint, and you can have assignment rules. You can put a capping that I don't want to go beyond $120, and then you want to get the alerts, or you want to put the actions on this. So everything you get, it's an achievable. And then there is something called as shared environment. So where your dev, QA, and production, they share the different environments, and then you want to see and acknowledge the usage of that environment so that you can able to import here. So this is all about the recommendations and shared. Then there is something called as cost explorer. It is bit same like the resource listing, but you can have a multi-data, so pool wise, geography wise, that you can categorize, and you want to see in which region the actual spending happening on the more, right? So that that you can able to see. Then the main important is that you can put some policies for the anomaly detection, saying that per day I should not exceed $10, or my business KPIs for dev team should not exceed 200 or $2,000 per month. Then you want to put a cap and have the anomalies and the triggering of the emails that is achievable. So you can put anomaly detection. The secondly, as I mentioned, you can put a budget and quotas for each team, and then you want to regularly monitor all of this. Then there is something called as Kubernetes sizing. So you can integrate your Kubernetes, and if that is oversized, then you can see it. Over provisioned, you can see it, and then this will give the recommendation to the proper sizing of the resources. Right? This is one of the very important aspect everybody that is looking into in their current infrastructure. Because typically, as the fear of application downtime in the production, normally many of the clusters typically they are oversized. At least as I see from the FinOps report that the 75% of the cloud spending happens on over provisioning. So then you want to have the comparison between different regions, between different flavors, the quotas, the flavors of different cloud providers, that you can able to compare this, so that is achievable here. So here comes is the data source where you want to add multiple. These are the supporting data sources that you can able to add on the GCP, Alibaba, Databricks, Kubernetes, and so on. And then you can integrate with the Slack or Jira, or so that you can able to get the triggers you want to achieve, put up in this. And similarly, in the ops scale, as I mentioned, this is all about FinOps and cost optimization. Similarly, from the Histax has something called as Histax Kiro frame, which is talks about the ML framework. You want to monitor the your ML training cost, which is incurring, and the complete ML ops pipeline, starting from getting the training data, test data, pushing into this in the cloud environment, and then training the ML model. Once it is trained, do I need to keep the train data, or I want to revoke the train data? So how much cost is incurring, and what is the ML pipeline that you're running? How much the accuracy that is that brought? You want to keep that running, or so this, if we have already been using the MLOps platform, ML flow platform, and then this Kiro frame will help for easier integration and monitor the complete cost associated with that. So by integrating, by using Kiro frame with the ops scale, which are open source environments that can bring the value to your organization in terms of the bringing the cloud spending, and bring the value on the cloud optimization. Even more lot that we can able to, from this data that we capture as an AirWire, we have a FinOps certified professionals who can talk to you, who can talk to you on that, bring the value in terms of unit economics, building a FinOps center of excellence at your organization if you are looking into to reduce the cost. So yeah, so these are some of our typical services with respect to cloud FinOps that currently that we take cater at AeroWire. And I think we have around 4+ FinOps practitioners, certified practitioners from FinOps Foundation, and they're working on various aspects on the focus, especially on the focus on the cloud unit economics side. And finally, if any of your team or any of your organization needs, you want to think on the act on the wastage on the cloud at various levels and make your organization cost aware, bring a unit economics in the place, bring visibility on all of the stakeholders in your organization, starting from the engineering team, engineering again, dev, staging, and production, and then turn your instead of thinking the cloud spending after the cloud usage, change it to a left shift approach, saying that before deploying or before provisioning, commissioning. So how do we incorporate FinOps practices so that we can able to reduce the cost before deployment, right? So yeah, so if you have any requirements, if you need a support on this, just you put a mail on cloud.support@aol.com. We can just take a read access from your environment, put on the off scale, get the recommendations, initial recommendation that is just a crawling, right? So we are still not walking or running, just crawl, integrate with the off scale and see the recommendation and how much you can reduce your cloud spending. And in the walking stage, will try to proactively act on the recommendations, and on the running stage we bring the complete FinOps practices onto the floor, involving all the stakeholders. So this is what I want to cover in this session. I am on the time seems because 30 minutes was kept for this, and I am happy to answer if you have any questions related to this. Thank you. You can unmute and ask me your questions, or you can put your questions on the chat.
Shivanand, sorry to intervene. Uh, Hey all, good evening. This is Kiran from Airwire marketing team. And to all of you, thank you so much for making time in joining us for this webinar. So in the chat box, I have posted the link for your feedback. Your feedback is valuable. Please provide it so that we could improve your experiences in future coming webinars as well. Thank you so much once again. Thank you all for being with us today.